Many people think that injuries are very normal during the day, and more if he's a teenager. But is that true or just a fallacy? Good afternoon. My name is Leonardo, and today I'm going to present you my non-presentation. That is a non-literary text. And it's titled, Is Weightlifting Supportive or Harmful for Teenagers? Before starting, I wanted to thank my teacher, Mr. Asuna, for assisting me in my project. Also, we have the criteria that are divided in 4 parts. First of all, the criteria A, that is of analyzing, for example, analyzing text. Then we have the criteria B, that is organizing, to organize ourselves to do this project. Then we have the criteria C, that is producing text, for example, producing our argumentative text. And finally, the criteria D, that is using language that is mostly used orally. Here is my table of contents. Let's start with my inspiration. Here are my main inspirations that are discipline and growth, mental health, and knowledge. Why? First of all, the discipline and growth is essential for the teenager, not only in sports, also to use in academic styles. Then we have mental health, that is also essential for the teenager because they need to be more mental and to use their mental health to, for example, use studies. Finally, the knowledge that is gained when you're training. And here is my synopsis. I took some quotes from my analysis text to explain how it is. For example, here is the first quote that is, weightlifting is not exercise. It is a place adolescents are skills for their life and personal academic futures. So, as I told you, the weightlifting in teenagers is for academic and also for training purposes. So they can grow mentally and physically. Then we have the second quote that is, training can also develop adaptability, as adolescents are responsible for their own outcomes and safety. So it makes adolescents to be more independent and to know what to do. And next we have the summary of our project. So as here it says, it's an analytic text that is about, as its title, that is weightlifting supportive for teenagers. And its objective is to inform and also to persuade the reader to do weightlifting, and also if a father reads this, may influence their child to start with this beautiful sport. Then we reach the inquiry question, the heart of our presentation. So the inquiry question is, how do the utilization of quotations in a related text may influence the pursuit of readers for self-improvement? I divided my inquiry question in 3 colors so that the audience may understand more. Here is probably the most important part of our presentation, that is the analysis inquiry, that I divided in 2 parts. The first part is the selection of information helps the reader to have a better understanding and have a great POV to inform. So, next please. There are some quotes that are accompanied by some information from pages, websites that are very recognized by the public. For example, here the American Academy of Radiologists, that is controlled by the US government. So here it says also that it's safe and also beneficial for every teenager. So it has a big effect on the reader because it's supported by the government of the US, as I told you. So as well, in this quote says that it helps in the bone density and also a critical factor in the growth of the bones. It helps the reader to understand why the topic is important and also to rely on it. Let's pass, on the other hand, to my second line of inquiry. That says that the use and selection of quotations in every argumentative text guide readers to interpret ideas more effectively, encourage reflection and motivating them self-improvement. So, as I told you, the information that is from reliable sources gives the reader more reliance and also confidence reading that. For example, one of my quotes is from the National Institute of Health, for example, again from the US government, and also from the WHO, World Health Organization. Now I'm going to review the second quote that says that experience of weightlifting also helps to cultivate a growth mindset. So it tells us that not only is good for physical activity, it's also good for the mental health and also for academic study. Let's pass to the reflection of a project. Here I have a conclusion for every line of query I did. First of all, the selection of information allows readers to understand the main idea, helping them from a meaningful point of view of the text and also the presentation. Then, through the use of quotations, readers can connect emotionally and to know more about the text, as also intellectually, preparing them to reflect and take action toward self-improvement. Now let's pass to my recommendation, that is divided in two parts. The part of the language and literature subject and also the part of the annual project. So in language and literature, it helped me a lot, for example, to use quotations, to use relevant sources, and to know how to persuade readers, for example. And then, in the part of the annual project, I knew to create an analytic text and also to use evidences effectively, as also to motivate people and make them reflect and to go to self-improvement. Here are my references in alphabetical order. Thank you so much for your attention.